So for anyone who might be seeing this in the future, this is sort of just an impromptu, okay, um, live chat, and I wanted to call it um, on the front porch. It just came to me yesterday. Let me just make sure that I can see chat responses. Let's see. How does that? Because I don't know if anybody's written anything. Hello. If you guys can hear me, like just write something in the chat. So I'll know. I'm not quite sure if it's on. Okay. Hi, Naomi. I didn't announce this at all to, on the channel. This is just impromptu. Just wanted to have like a front porch chat with everybody just to see how everyone's doing in terms of the summer, what's going on in your life, are the energies faring with you, and yeah, just to chat, talk about some things that I've maybe been doing with my own personal practice, just any questions anybody wants to ask about anything. Anything I've written recently, or the videos that I've done recently, and the points that have been discussed. So I saw Naomi's hello, and who else is there? I'm trying to see if I can pull up my I'm not very. So this is not planned. um, Hi. Oh, hi, Crystal. How are you? So this is going to be more on your participation. Usually, what kind of happens to me is um, usually when somebody just brings up a topic or something, it gives me, it just starts, jumping off. Um, so this today is also the Lion's Gate. And hi, oh good, portal. Um, and I was speaking about that yesterday, only because the angels were giving me a little bit more details about it as I was speaking. And so, if you ask me a question about it today, I may have something different to say, depending on what I get about it or anything. Um, so, hi, Copper. How are you? That's a really interesting name, Crystal Azure. So, Crystal, like, what is it that you do? Really, I love crystals, and I'm just trying to make. Oh, wonderful. Just chilly. Yeah. So I've been. I don't know how everybody else has been feeling. Like, so the last couple of weeks, so I've been feeling some kind of really intense energy, like something starting up. Okay, Crystal, you're in between jobs right now. Yeah, and what it kind of feels like is that some kind of new beginning, some new energies are starting up, and I tell you, it reminds me of like when you first day of school or college, you know, where everything. Hi, Stephanie. When you're really excited, but you're also really freaked out by the unknowns. I mean, you have these, you know, concepts of what it might be like, but you can never really put your finger on it. And And so I feel like we're in a very optimal time, hi Rosa, for change to unfold in our lives, where we can really, where we can really just sort of align with the universe and everything that, and all of our dreams and inspirations. Now, so I'm gonna have to just sort of be kind of honest with you. So I have to go to my, because like in my journal today. So when I kind of tuned into the Lionsgate portal, or they kept writing Stargate. So when I tuned into it today, it showed me things because it's a portal for abundance and manifestation and amplifying your creative projects, your desires and dreams, and just to be like really honest, mine was sort of like, well, hey, here's some things that we've kind of thrown at you to do, to try out. You've been inspired with this and this, and there were kind of things I didn't really take action on, and so it was really sort of just wow, it was just kind of like there and right there, kind of in a, not in a confronting way, but in a very loving, lovingly confronting way, right? It just it reminded me that of the opportunities that are presented so to us, that sometimes just out of fear we don't acknowledge them, we don't take the risks to trust the universe. And yesterday and today I pulled this up. So right now I'm using this deck called the Yogic Path, and I don't have the box out, but I do have the booklet. It's a very beautiful deck. I don't know if anyone has ever worked with this. This is an oracle deck. It's not a kind of deck that you can really sort of use with just the cards alone, because I don't know much about the yogic path at all, really, some of the terms. But as you can see, it's very beautiful. I don't want to lose this one card. So this is the card that came up for me the last couple of days. When I work, when I do a reading for myself, I use the guidebook and my intuition in combination. Um, it helps me to get out of my own head. Um, Hi, Tales of Chrysalis. Oh, I love that name too. It helps me to get out of my head, and after I meditate, and I have this long process. I do like a monthly journal. I keep a weekly journal, and I keep a daily journal on my device. So unfortunately, um, because of my lack of tech at this point, I I can't show you a. I'm just trying to find my journal, which is just on my in Google Docs. I keep it in Google Docs. I was getting tired of the handwriting because it was just wearing on my. Yeah, it was starting to hurt. And then I always do all my writing on my phone, like all the daily card messages. I do it on my phone. Okay, I just found it on my laptop, and so I decided, it'll be neat. I can see it. Let me just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I had a burst of ideas come through on Saturday about a focus. Oh no, and a step. How do I get that back? And let's see. Does anybody know how I can get that message back? Let's see. Let me just go here on YouTube and see if I can get. Okay, here it is live. I've already. So maybe I can see the chat over here better. Okay. So I had bursts of ideas come through on Saturday about a focus and next steps for my business plan. I've been feeling emotional and hesitant lately. I owe you an email. Okay. Yeah, we all have been. Like I think what came to me today too in my journal was just like that. I was talking about it on the other day, and the simplifying, and I realized that what ends up happening is I complicate things. I start thinking too much. I add too many layers to it. For instance, my website. Um, so at first, I was just going to re, you know, just move everything over to the new one, and a friend of mine was helping me with, well, maybe you should put things this way and organize it this way. It's like moving around furniture, right? Um, and then all of a sudden, one day I was hit with, I'm just going to say it, because then I'm going to have to contradict myself, right? But I was kind of hit with an idea. And then I thought, no, I know what I want to rewrite the whole thing. And then I didn't sit down to do it right then and then there. And I wrote the idea down. And then when I went back to it, it was like, uh, you know, so I realize sometimes that we make things bigger than what it needs to be. It's sort of like that. What I think I said in one of the writings about, if you were going hiking and all you really need is, you know, hiking shoes, the appropriate tire, and maybe some water and maybe something to eat, but you don't need like all the other stuff that you just don't want to do. You don't want to be without on your day off, on this day out, right? So it's like if you were just to go hiking and you knew it was just simple to take shoes, um, make sure you dress comfortably for whatever the weather is, and you had money for any little thing that came up, water, and maybe a little lunch. Um, your bag would be sort of like the fool's card, right? It would be very light. It would look light. You really would have all the essentials that is needed to carry you through. And the thing about it is what we do the complete opposite. We just keep piling on and piling on and piling on and piling on. And all of that talks us out of what we want to do. It talks us out of our ideas and our dreams. And then we find it, then we're so bogged down and so complicated, and it's so far removed. Everything that now you start to worry about is so far removed from your purpose, your intention. So there's something about focus. I think this is a word you wrote. Yeah. There's something about focus, intention, and attention. And I think like we can come up with an intention. Sometimes people find it hard to find an intention. Um, but I won't, let's, for sake of argument, it's not that difficult. Um, but attention comes out of the intention, and then your attention can get distorted if you don't keep reinforcing your focus. So, like, I'm going hiking, I need some shoes. I have the shoes, get my shoes out of the closet. The next thing you're doing is looking for this and looking for the keys and looking for your work project because I can take that along with me, blah blah blah, and it just keeps piling up. Now um, your you've lost sight of what your intention was, which to say was to go out and just relax. It could be a simple thing that you want, just relax. You want to get away from it all, and now the very next thing you're doing as a compulsion um, is to bring everything with you that you're trying to get away from. And so now you've lost sight of your intention because attention started to run wild, and then start shifting the focus to the point that you can't focus, right? So instead of doing it, you just don't. Um, and so I was, what the angel said in one of those writings or the readings was that, you know, focusing, keeping it simple, and then going with the flow, just follow your heart, and then letting the universe add to your experience. As once you're on the journey, the universe will add to it. So our hesitations are usually about the control. And when you wrote that statement, I was looking for this card that pulled yesterday from this deck, the Victorian Romantic Tarot. This is a deck I wanted for the longest time, and it was out of print for the longest time, and now I think it's back in print. I think she still has copies, and you're not looking at it, and I am. It has this sort of some kind of, I forget what they call it, but it has it shines in different spots. I forget what they call it. But the card was the Two of Swords, and usually, when I look at the Two of Swords, we all think about a decision because she's holding two swords up, and it's like one or the other, right? And but this was, look at that. She's just got her hands over, or he just has their hand over their hearts crossed. And what it reminds me of is that trust game, or in improvisation, where there's somebody standing behind us and we just let ourselves go, trust. And so it's this surrender, right? And one of the things that I liked about this was in the background you see, because this card here, Kriya, is about effortless flow. I don't know if I'm saying it right, and so the concept is effortless flow, and just getting in touch with the universe and letting it carry you. And when I saw this for the first time, instead of thinking about I got an important decision to make that's really tough and I'm stuck, this sort of gives you the answer. You don't need to be stuck. Just surrender. Don't focus on making the choice. Surrender. Now, in the background, you see that there are boulders, in the water, in the ocean behind her. And those could be the things that we've put there from our thoughts, our beliefs, our past experiences, our expectations, right? But the thing about the water is it's always navigating a path of release. It's always navigating around those obstacles, always looking for that continuous flow. And so in surrendering to the universe, to God, whatever you call it, however you speak to it, right? When you do it, no, even though you have fears, like you're hesitating, you're feeling like you're hesitating about something, whatever it is that you feel, whatever the reasons that your ego is presenting to you as reasons not to do it, even though your heart's singing yes, 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 okay, it doesn't matter, because the water will always find a way to seep through and around, any prison that we have built around us. No matter how great of a fortress it is, the only way out is not to try to think your way out, but to surrender and float on that stream, on that, I'm trying to think of what you call a little running water, just like any running water, right? Just surrender to that. Float right on out there, and it will take you to where you deserve and where you really we're trying to get to, but you can't get there on your own. Like I realized, like, we can't do it. It is not that you're not going to do anything, but you can't do it from the limitations of your mind, your beliefs, your perspective. You can't do it. We really do have to surrender in order for us, for the answer or for the solution, for the path to evolve for us or before us. Right. Yeah, flowing towards the unseen future. So, you know, like whatever is coming up for all of us right now, that's what we really need to do. We really, really need to surrender. And the other card that came with it, and I just want to show you the backs of these. What do they call this? Why can't I remember anything? Um, this is some kind of foil or something that's on the card. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful deck. So the other card that I pull with it, so I always pull like, you know, an oracle and then a tarot card from the top of the deck and the tarot card from the bottom of the deck. It always tells me what's happening on the surface, what I need to be aware of on the surface, and what do I need to be aware of that's unfolding underneath. Now here you see, with all my clumsy fingers in front of it, the Hermit. And what do you notice in the background? This is a very different Hermit card. More water and more stones in that water. And the Hermit is, you know, we always think of the Hermit as someone who goes inward for their solutions. That they go on that inner journey. So it's sort of like a solitary journey that they embark upon. But that lamp there, because he's seeking inner wisdom, he's seeking that his own, his guidance. And with these two cards, it's like surrender to your heart, surrender to your inner guidance. Instead of trying to, every time we question ourselves, and I know it doesn't make sense, but every time we do that, every time we question ourselves, we complicate things. It's like, instead of questioning ourselves, just surrender to the river, surrender to the stream, surrender to the whatever running form of running water within your soul. Flow within that stream, um, and it'll navigate you through your stuff. That's what all that stuff is in the background, the drama of the waves and the resistance of the waves, right? Um, it will, yeah. Well, they were preparing me, Crystal, for this, within myself. I'm doing this today because you've heard me say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do one of these soon, or I'm gonna start doing some classes, and I've just been like, oh, well, I need to have, the right background, or I need to have, I need to have this, I keep thinking about, like, I need a huge suitcase to go on this trip that the universe is asking me to go on. And today I decided I don't have one. I don't have a huge suitcase, and I'm just gonna do it because they didn't shame me. That's not what happened at all. But when they reminded me of things I didn't even think of, things I didn't even think that were important goals, like I saw a ship, and immediately that was my symbol for, in that moment, of reminding me I always wanted to travel, around the world. And even one time, and sometimes I still think about it, like, maybe I should just become a flight attendant so I can, travel the world, right? And extra income. But, it there is no preparation. There just isn't. We have everything within us, right? I mean, technically, the fool's bag with his little pouch, the luggage that we're looking for is It's right here. You know, and it's expansive. The universe within us is limitless. It's abundant, and everything you need. So that means all you have to do is focus on showing up every day, but not just showing up, but how you want to show up. And it's really important to um, be authentic, right? And I think that's really the best thing. So true, been there, and you always find a way when you trust and surrender. And that just faded. Yeah, Crystal says it's beyond the rational sequence of steps. Yeah, the ego is always looking for the logical steps. Like I'm gonna go off subject a little bit, but to this point about steps, like things being logical, like you know, the problems of the world. What is the answer to the problems of the world? And there are a lot of smart, very educated people with a lot of experience in a lot of these areas, you know, who work in these areas. And I'm not saying that it's not credible, but I often found, like when I was taking teaching, for example, um, that when you're trained to do something, you're stuck in you're stuck in the system of what you've been taught, which excludes or doesn't even begin to, I don't know if it excludes it, but it doesn't begin to invite, what am I about to say? It doesn't invite all of your gifts, all of your untapped potential. It doesn't begin to invite that in to the conversation, right? So it's like I you might hear me say this. So like if I would give I'd give an idea, if somebody else had a really good idea, all the other people on the faculty, the principal, just shoot it down because of fear. They're thinking about, and of course their fears are justifiable in the context of the experience that they're having and the way that they're perceiving that experience. But it won't also get rid of the problems that they're having with that experience by not dropping or letting go, not surrendering to something that is scary because it's unimaginable from where you're standing. But when you get an idea that's unimaginable, illogical, you have to go with it. You have to see at least, right? So I wasn't trained as a teacher. I was trained as a musician, as a performer. I have a master's in performance. And I can tell you about that in a few minutes to validate what I'm saying to you. Um, but the thing is, because I wasn't trained as a teacher, but I was creative, I could really come up with ideas for my class and for what I did that, you know, could really, you know, help me keep moving past certain um, boundaries. I trained as a performer, all right? So here comes the flip side. And yet, because I was taught to sing a certain way and my own unique, authentic way of expressing myself was not invited into the conversation, therefore, I did not, you know, utilize it. And what I was left with was this structure of how to sing, but I couldn't do anything with that. Like it was so limiting by the time I am totally invested into just that without my own potential being invited into the conversation that I felt like so restricted and so I felt like a phony in my body and my voice. Is not until like a couple like 2014, I think 2016, I started studying with a teacher who lives around the corner from me. I bumped into by accident because I said to the angels on the bus home, all right, so if you really want me to go back to school or do this, where is the voice teacher? And then what do I see? Two kids first with musical instruments in pairs, like. And then I saw another set pairs, and when I get to my corner, I see a singer who I knew is the church I used to go to in St. John Divine, who was in the choir there, and I was like, no, it's too fast, it's too fast, and I was like, I can't walk up to her, and I was afraid. I was like, I can't do this. She's gonna think I'm crazy, and this black guy, she's gonna think I'm gonna attack her. No, so we were walking across the street together, you know, and on different sides of the street. She turned and I turned, and now I'm in front of her, and now I had to force myself to. I had to literally throw my body around. You should have seen that. I wonder what it looked like to make myself follow the universe on this, and it turned out to be the most miraculous thing ever because um, we worked up until the pandemic, and we haven't studied since. But because it invited my potential into the conversation, and it did it by not telling me who I should be, but helping me to go. And literally, she taught me to go inside by like meditating, imagining the connection between my body and my voice. Imagine it first, and then singing, and that's how we discovered. She never told me what was supposed to happen, how I should do it, put it, none of that. And then after that, for the last 3 years, my voice just started growing intuitively because now my inner being is completely feeding or teaching me how to sing. Literally, like it's doing that. And it's like today I was like, oh my God, I just had another. To me, it's a miracle only because it's just so profound. Because I struggled for so long and it was so depressing for so many years, right? But here, my point is that no, it's not logical. It's not what you think it's going to be. Um, what I experienced in my voice today, I couldn't even imagined it, like because of where I was and what I was dealing with. So yeah, it's very important that we just. And isn't it interesting that this card usually it just sort of shows somebody trying to make a choice, a hard decision. They're stuck, and this card is so beautiful because it's just like screw the stuck, fall back, and just open up to it. Um, let's see. Oh, hi Michelle. How do you start? Well, that's a good question. Well, I would say don't think about how do you start, Michelle, because in my complicated mind as a performer who got stuck right there and didn't go on to really pursue it, what happened, what worrying about what it was all going to be like and worrying about what people would think. So you have to accept in yourself that you want to be a performer. Therefore, inside of you is a performer. Therefore, the only person that's going to be able to ever validate that for you is yourself. So you just start performing, even if it's singing in your, in the shower, or you put together a little performance at your house. I don't know how far along you are in your process. Um, you put yourself in that kind of position. Simple. Keep your simple. What is the intention that you have for being a performer? Like, what is your intention? Is it, I want to be of service, which is good. Um, if I just want to sing, I want to perform because it's fun. That's that's a thing. Like, I mean, it just has to matter to you. Then follow through on that. Because, like I said, if you want to perform because you just love the way you make an audience feel and the way they make you feel, then that has to be what you never let go of. So, like, if something doesn't work out right before the performance, your thing is your focus is, I just want to sing I just want to perform because I love being in front of the audience. I love the way I make them feel, and I love the way they make me feel. Right? And that would be the reason that in the middle of that little obstacle, like that boulder in the back there that might crop up, you are able to let go of something that your attention has latched onto, like, oh, I got a hole in my dress, um, or oh, I think my throat's starting to feel weird, or oh, I think the air conditioning is starting to really affect my voice, or I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sing that high note really well, right? You know, you can say, well, I'm gonna crack that high note. I may even tell the audience, it's just gonna crack, but I'm just gonna have a good time, right? So you focus on your intention. And if you really, every practice that you make is about that, and every time you get up to perform, no matter how small it is, and it's about that, that will become your habit, your habit, your connection habit. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm just making it up, right? It becomes your connection habit so that every time you perform, you're ready. You you want to perform more than anything that could go wrong. Um, you did a great reading for me many years ago. My mission is a spiritual healer teacher, and I have kind of dropped the ball. It's taken everything for me to simply step into my authority. Hey, tell me about it. I totally get it, and I feel like the Lionsgate energy, the Stargate energy, is it's just really helping us. Like I thought it was going to be today, like something was going to manifest, but what it actually did, I don't know how to put this in words, but it showed me what I have manifested to act upon. Meaning, like, when the universe gives you the idea, that's the manifestation of it. The only reason we get an idea is because it's been manifested. That's first contact. Yeah, I want to get kind of like Star Trekkers, alien kind of thing on this. It's first contact. Your your ideas, your visions, your dreams, your hopes, they are first contact from the divine, the manifested form of it. Because why? Because it propels you, or in that moment it creates such a strong desire within you that you want to act upon it. And once you act upon it, it will manifest. Because why? Because you are now literally in the co-creative process. You are working with the universe. The universe is talking your heart through it, talking your limbs through it, moving your limbs. Um, opening your eyes to the opportunities. To bringing other people to you, that kind of thing. And so again, it's the fool. I don't know where that is in this card, in this deck, but you don't need you don't need the nap. You don't need a big suitcase. You don't need anything. You only need the bare essentials. That is you. Trust in yourself, surrender, and as you go on that journey and show up, because you have your intention, and you just keep choosing to show up as authentically as you can, then all those other things will be added unto you. So I don't want to get, I know people are sometimes a little freaked out by Christianity, but it just keeps coming into my mind that seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all these things will be added unto you. Meaning that if you simplify, if you go with that first contact and take as little with you as you possible, so that you don't get bogged down. Because once you get bogged down, you don't feel like it anymore, right? Like, just think about it. Like, um, today, if I would have added a whole bunch of things. Oh, this fool doesn't have a this deck doesn't have a little bag. I'll show it to you in a few minutes. But if I had gotten bogged down and I started thinking about I want to do this, I want to do, I got to do this, I got to do this, but all before I do this, then I would never have gotten up here. It just wouldn't have happened. Oh, this fool is right on the top. From our whispering spirits tarot. So see, light, light, light. Yes, he's a fool. Yeah, you're a fool for leaving home without all the things you need. Oh yeah, you're a fool for not, thinking this through a little bit more carefully. You're the biggest fool ever. But he has, because his bag is light, he has, his spirit can stay high, right? And he can then be free enough to gather what he needs along the way. To gather it. And that way, when you're on the path that you say you want to be on, what you pick up is what you need. But when you don't know what's going on, the pre-trip preparations, well, it's all unknown, and so you're taking things that are unnecessary, and those unnecessary things also have thoughts, thought patterns, and they have their own drama with them, right? Like, I mean, I'm just throwing this out random, like not even trying to make it. I'm not even trying to make any sense. But what if I had? What if I bring some some technology that I don't know how to operate? Now, what is that going to do? I'm going to be distracted the whole time on my hiking trip, trying to figure out how to get to make this thing function, and then I'll be too tired to start the hike. I may have gotten there to the place, the location, but I won't go on the hike. You see, so we need to simplify. I'm looking at this. This is sort of like a circus fool, like a circus clown, and I like this too because we need to play. Have you guys been noticing that the Six of Cups? I've been pulling that card in a daily. Oh, you don't know because I had to pull it again today for the writing for Wednesday, but the Six of Cups has been coming up, and I love it in this deck. I don't know because I didn't see it in the Rider Waite or many other decks. The little one, he's just sitting there with his it's like a little kid. It reminds me of like a little toddler just sitting there and being really open and receptive to everything that's given to it, right? And then the older big brother or sister here trying to console, trying to keep them consoled. And I don't know, something like it feels like we're being told to just go back to be, in order to be simple, to go all the way back to when we just enjoyed playing, when we had intention, when our only intention was to experience pleasure. I always say that children never, the reason they never tire and they can play all day is because they're playing all day. They're playing all day. They're following their bliss. It's uninterrupted me time. And because they're following their bliss, they're following their heart, right? And because they're following their heart, they're being authentic in every moment of their play. So we don't run out of energy when we are fully surrendering consistently to God, to source, whatever you want to call it, right? To that stream, to the universe. So the fool isn't the fool. The fool really mocks us, actually, for forgetting. You know, I know like with children, like they jump from one thing to the next to the next. They won't carry the other stuff with them. They'll like put it down, and you'll be like, "Hey, I bought you that toy, and I thought that was your." They will just jump to the next thing. It might be a stick. I mean, that's how I was. It was like a stick, whatever, and it became a new toy or whatever was outside. But we have to just learn to we've learned to accumulate things. We've learned to take on more than what was really necessary, and then we're stuck with it because it now becomes our responsibility. And we need to be more like children. I've had enough of that. And you're like, I spend a lot of money. I've had enough of that, you know? And we also need to be more like kids. I was thinking about this today too, in that they always know what they want. Think about it. They'll cry. They'll smile when they get, and they'll cry when they don't want it. You'll be like, here, how about that? Nah, they do that. Nah, all day long. They are not entertaining anything that is not in alignment with their desire, their truth. They are rejecting immediately. And we don't reject the things, like that's what I was talking about, attention in the beginning. We keep not focusing our attention on our intention. And even the randomness of a child playing and moving about throughout the day is still intentional. It's only as we become adults that actually we're having to talk about intention here. We're having to learn about it again, including myself. I mean, I'm just fortunate. My gift is that I remember when I talk. I remember when you talk to me or you ask me a question. I remember. You trigger my remembering. Otherwise, I'm just as dumb as a doornail all day long. Not too dumb, but you know what I mean, right? I just keep forgetting. So we need to really focus our attention on our intention and stay on it. Be like the kids. I love this feels good. I love the pleasure of my intention, and put my intention, focus on that intention, focus on my intention, right? Just whip it back, get back on it. And the only way you can do this, play. And one of the things that helps us, that we have to remember too, service is such an important part of why we want to. Service makes us happy because we receive. Like, so you see here, there's giving and receiving in this card, but it's also like, he's giving back what he or she is giving back what they've been given already by their parents and previously. So now, being a little bit older, it gives him the pleasure to be of service to the family and to his little sibling here. And likewise, what you're singing or whatever it is that you want to do is about the same thing. It's about giving back from the truth, love that was given to you. We all might have pain and suffering and tragedy in our past, but we all have love in our past as well. Or we wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't be able to even hear what I'm saying if you didn't get it some way, even if it was minuscule. You picked it. When love is so great, you just can't help but be touched by it, even if everything about your past was so dysfunctional. Well, you're not completely dysfunctional if you're sitting here talking to me. and in this circle with everybody else, is you're not that dysfunctional, but your attention to that dysfunction over the function that you received from love is what will qualify your belief for you. You always get the evidence of whatever it is you believe. Let's see. It says we're in alignment with being grateful while working through where we are. Yes, I would enjoy painting a lot when I was a child. That's why I started painting again when I was 50. And I can tell you, I feel alive and full of joy when I paint. Yeah. And that's the thing with singing. Like, for me, I'm just glad it became 100% that again. Like, and I don't perform for anybody yet, but I mean, I did in the recent years before the pandemic, and then I got hurt. I broke my ankle at the rehearsal. But the thing is that now, before the pandemic, what I'm feeling today is nothing like what that has been. But I know exactly what you mean. I'm not even trying to worry about what I'm going to do with it right now. I just want to not leave it out of my day because I feel really, really great. Like, that's probably why I'm so bubbly right now. You're witnessing the effects of that. And there's something else I kind of wanted to say about that. You like, yeah, so your intention is so pure. It's so, um, it's unconditional. It's not attached to conditions. It's not seeking anything. You remember, love isn't seeking or asking anything of us. That's not how love works. The love of the universe, love of God, whatever you want to call it, it is never asking anything of us because it has nothing else that it's seeking from itself. It is so fulfilled that now, when time and space were created, it only wanted to now give that love. And you say, but won't it run out of it? No. Because it discovered that it did not need love to be looking for love outside of itself in order to find fulfillment. It finds fulfillment within itself, and that kind of love is self-regenerating. That kind of love is self-regenerating. And that is why the universe will always be. It's eternal. I mean, and God and all of our souls are guaranteed eternal because it is all connected to this regenerative love. There's enough to keep regenerating itself, and it is a generator for everything else that is ever given life to. The only reason that we get sick and die is because we don't know how to stay focused. We don't know how to focus our attention and keep it focused on our intention of bliss. When we get that first contact of an idea of a purpose, we don't go right to it. We go right to the weight. So it's almost like, why am I thinking of the tarot like this? But that's why the tarot is so great, because it's kind of like, it's like the Ace of Cups, where your cup overfloweth, and you're filled with, and I'm looking for the 10 of Wands, so just so you know where I'm going with this. And, your cup is overflowing, and then what happens is you start complicating things rapidly, and then you end up feeling like the person in the 10 of Wands, who's just completely oversaturated, overwhelmed, just bogged down, and I know I saw that card. Interessante. I just went through. Yeah, whenever you're looking for something, right, you can't find it. Here it is. I know I saw it. How many of you actually use tarot and oracle as a part of your daily practice? I know people have. The thing about it is the artwork, and even though you know the system, this is like collecting art for me. It's like collecting art for me, and it's also collecting inspired art, because everybody's take on each one of these these card strategies adds something like just incredibly invaluable It helped. This is how you see your blind spots, you know, about what you are not paying attention to. Um, I couldn't do it without it personally. Doing the videos for you, talking to you, I that's my greatest, one of the greatest avenues for me to learn. But I'm talking, and so although I hear the ideas, I feel them. They're not written down, and when I have my personal tarot practice, it's not the same, but it's just as good in the way that it needs to be for me. And so, yeah, it's like we all have this. That first contact is this: my cup it runneth over, right? Where you just feel the greatest love, the greatest pleasure. Um, you have the greatest insights. That's why I kind of like spirituality, um, romance, and creativity is sort of wrapped into this card, a lot of different layers, because this is really the card of my cup runneth over. My cup runneth over, meaning there's so much in the feeling. There's so much in the feeling of a thing. And you have to treasure this. You have to respect it. You have to. I don't want to use a word that I don't want to put up a wall, but you have to set healthy boundaries. You have to protect yourself from yourself, because this is what we end up tending to do. I want to do this now. I'm going to do this. 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 Because it comes. Sometimes I think it comes out of like this fear that I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing enough. So if we believe we're inadequate, then we give ourselves more responsibility to prove to ourselves that we should be like this, but then you can't do it. And so you tell yourself, see, I told you I'm inadequate. Why do we do that? Why? Why do we do that? Yeah. So you got to protect this, because with the aces, the energy is all consolidated. It's all in a place of assurance, of pure knowing. And I mean this with all the aces. To me, it's like it's oneness. It's before separation. It's before your energy is dispersed. And this is the state that the divine makes first contact with us through ideas, etc. And that next step to that choice has to be, in order to keep that energy so that you can empower it through its expansion, is that you need to make a decision, and two, be clear about your intention so that your decision is still focused with the energy that the ace gave you. And so many of us are worried about, like somebody asked a question earlier, how do I do it? See, that's step 3, probably. Like 3 in tarot, the number energy is giving birth. That's the expansion. And so, but you can't go to 3 until you take care of 2, because it's like, what's my intention now? What's my intention here? That was inspired to me. Now I got to make sure that that my attention is focused on my intention, and that I am not getting complicated. That I'm not going and starting to pull everything out the drawer. Now, how many of you do that? Because I do. If I go over there now and grab one of my songbooks, just because I walked into the room and all I know I want to sing. Now I can make it really difficult if I start trying to find this one song, but I can't find it. And now I go through and pull out all the books, and now they're all over the floor in the bed. And do I feel like putting them back? No. Now do I feel like singing? No. So, yeah, protect this. Be simple. Don't make it complicated. One little thing at a time. Coop, Copper says all the time, right? I know. That's why I'm being honest with you because I know that I can't be the only one. um, says somebody says yes, they're focused on their needs. They're in touch with their feelings. Yes, we lose that to our detriment to check in with ourselves, right? And we lose it too because we start worrying about what our and it's so funny because we get as parents or teachers, you oop, you get upset with your kids for not listening to you. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but we should actually be glad when they don't listen to us. If if we've if we've and I'm just talking if we've supported their supported and by what I mean by supported empowered their blissful play, if we really uplift them every time they follow through on their pleasures, or and maybe not go overboard so that it always feels natural to them, you know, but maybe just observe more, right? Because we really do need to observe more. Like, just think if we observed kids instead of criticizing them or even going overboard and trying to make them feel like they're, you know, like, how sometimes you can just go a little bit too far. Oh my God, that's just so amazing. Like, it's genuine when it's genuine. But I'm not telling you just go everything like every time now you think to yourself, now I gotta pretend to be, ooh, surprised, right? No, that is too much. But just watching them and validating when you see things, like, just having a conversation, like, if you sat down and just said to your kid, I was observing today the way you play, good job. I mean, I really wish I could do that. You should always, and just, let them know that that's a great thing that you're doing. You're doing it naturally. You're listening to your heart. You know what you enjoy. You know what you don't enjoy, and you keep going for it. There are many adults out there that don't know how to do that. They just look at you probably like you're crazy at the younger age. But over time, the conversation keeps happening, and they would get it. They would really get it, and maybe they would not make choices that you don't like because you've learned to actually appreciate them for who they are and their choices. Yeah, and I think that's one way that can happen, Crystal, is that we have to, like, instead of like trying to be, I think we have this idea of being a teacher or parent, like, and how we're supposed to, you know because again, when you start talking about strategies, and I'm doing it, I understand, but this was a little inspired because I've never thought of this myself. So um you know instead of making an effort to be like, ooh, ooh, aren't you pretty, or ooh, you're doing this so well, ooh, ooh, um instead of making that kind of effort, we should just, observe. And then at the end of the day, or at a time that you and your child develop a time for conversation and reflection, then you reflect back to them the wonderful things that you saw and what you appreciated about the way they went about things in the day. And they might be able to do it for you because you're training them to do it. And then you kind of become people who help each other keep your energies balanced and to stay on intention and pleasure. Um, okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna check some of the pull this in front of me like this to see. Oh yes, that's true, Rosemary, about the Google finding songs. But I have scores, right? So in French, Italian, and German, and I'm looking for them because I sing opera, and then I'm looking for them. The other day I was looking for something. I was like, where is that? Where is it? Where is it? And you can just get distracted sometimes. So I'm gonna get close to wrapping this up because I didn't want it to be too long so that someone won't watch it in the future as well. But you're all gonna have to accept that I am long-winded. Period. long-winded in conversation. If you ever have a conversation with me in person, I'm very long-winded. I grew up in a family where talking was the biggest thing. Where one time I sat with my two aunts, my aunt Yvonne and my aunt Loretta, 3 days straight, no sleep, at the dining room table of my grandmother's house one Christmas. We were snowed in. I think it was the snow of 82 in Virginia. We were snowed in, and it was the same conversation, but we just kept going. We were enjoying ourselves. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm probably never going to be short. Just for all of you who've stuck with me over the years, you don't mind, but I know many people have, and they left. But that's what it is, right? I can't be somebody else, so I'm never gonna try. Um, and yeah, these little chats may just pop up from time to time, and I'll try to tell you about them, but I'm calling these the front porch chats because of how I grew up. Um, when I was a child, the only thing that I was sure of in this world, which I didn't know the word for it, was wisdom. Like I didn't know what it was, but the signature, the feeling of it, and in my community in Virginia, a lot of the people, whether they were educated or not, were just like wise, and they talked about life, and I knew that I was supposed to learn as much as possible. I never had a conversation with my mom, my grandmother, nobody. I didn't even have this conversation, and I think I just realized it or said it to someone maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. Um, but um, it was something I knew. So that's why it was always kind of split for me when I came to the spirituality and then the singing. I was kind of split between the two because both of them have been with me since I was a very small child. And it's like I feel like a split personality sometimes. Like which way to go? Which way to go? Now I have a really good answer with this card. This is my new favorite. This is probably my only favorite two of swords ever because it's not trying to figure out which, just surrender and go with the flow of all of it, all of my paths, right? And so I wanted to call this the front porch chat or on the front porch because I have to find a picture of my grandmother's front porch and my Aunt Mabel's front porch. My Aunt Mabel was a teacher, English and social studies, and she had a huge porch, and she was also an opera singer. And so, you know, it was just a time, right? So, but she taught high school, and she was like a Teacher of the Year, Presidential Award in 1974 as a Teacher of the Year. And on their front porches is where people would just come by and be like, hey, and then they start kind of pull up and to the yard and start talking, and then they start talking about life, because I mean, I guess as a African American, um, the struggles that have hit the community since being in this country, they they always, I've always heard that phrase, every everything happens for a reason, right? So that was their way of turning that struggle into to wisdom, into a purpose. It was a way to help the next person, the next generation manage better, right? So turning your life experience into wisdom was really important to the community that I grew up in, and especially the generation that I was privileged to know. I think the generation from my grandmother's generation, they were all born in the my grandfather 1919, somewhere around there, to 1920. My grandmother was 27. That generation was on the cusp of a lot of things, right? They sort of, and they passed along. That was their legacy. The only thing they could really pass on to you, besides whatever else that they could. But that was always at the core of it. And so I thought this would be fitting for me, because we could use it for anything in terms of the front porch. And so, you know, thank you all for sharing like your comments as they, as you can see, look what it triggered. And also, I tell you this very sincerely when I say it every time. When I'm talking to you, even though it's through this method, and hopefully I'll get a Zoom started. But the Zoom is so limited too. But the Facebook is doesn't have like ability to talk back, so I'll have to try it when I get certain things established that I want to do for the channel. So, um, and if you're willing to go on this journey with me, um, but you know, um, the what am I saying? The when somebody asks me a question or when somebody says something or makes a statement, it always triggers like like activity of conversation from the realm, right? It just triggers it. And sometimes I feel like I'm just having a conversation more than doing a reading, right? A reading is a little different, but still, this is the easiest. Like even if I don't know something, so it kind of comes to me, but or the answer that's needed for this moment. But yeah, the front porch. So this is why I want these series to be like just a comfortable front porch kind of conversation thing. All right, and let me see. Ah, Terry, I've always appreciated your southernness. I was raised the same way, although in a northern city. Yeah, I get it. Congratulations on your new venture. Um, oh, hi, Nicole. It's been a while. Yeah, I know. I was wondering too when I was going to start doing the more lives. You know, because of my southern upbringing too, it's not a thing to go out and tell everybody your business, right? It's not a thing. Like Terry, you get it. You don't go out in the South. It's like hospitality is a huge thing, so that's easy. Like talking to you is easy. Um, but we always, in my time, worried about you know appropriateness and and just not like saying everything that's in your head, you know. Um, and so sometimes for me these chats are a little weird. Where that part of it is a little weird. Like I went into a chat the other day on somebody else's channel, Simon at the Hermit's Cave, and he had something called Cuppa Catch Up something, and that's where I got this idea. Of just different concept, and I'm not, and it was the thing is I was participating in the chat and then I was like, oh my god, what do I say? Like, you know, it feels like to me it's like if I were to walk out in my street and just tell everybody randomly something about me, and that's not something you would do, you know, in the South. If you walk out your door and neighbors are standing on the street, you do say good morning, hello, and you know you have conversation, but you don't always tell everybody everything that you tell the family. So social media is always awkward in that sense for me because this is not something that I was ever trained to do. Um, sing the oh my god! You know, I always tell people I'm a shy performer. That doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. Um, so, like since I was a kid, like so I think I had like a past life since I was living in New York, and I went to this healing center, and I was going there regularly. And the first time they did this thing where you call out your name, like you say your name in front of the crowd of people, and then they all say your name 3 times, Barry, Barry, Barry. Well, when they did that, um, I saw this scene from the 1920s, like I was getting out of a Rolls Royce and walking on the red carpet to some place. Could have been like I don't know what it was. I don't know what the name of the place. I never saw it, but I was there were 3 bullets and I was shot 3 times, and then that it, and that was just a flash. And I don't usually have those kinds of experiences while I'm awake. So it made sense. And then I kept seeing other things about it. I think they were dancers. Like, I don't know if I was the female or the male. I've only seen them together, and they danced like they were one. And I think there was a love triangle issue. But the point is, I think like in this lifetime, when I was afraid to dance. Like in my family, everybody like have a house party, they dance, and I wouldn't get up. I was afraid. It was my Aunt Yvonne that finally got me to get up and dance, and she was so kind, and the way she did it, she was a teacher too, and she just, and once I got up, I never stopped dancing. At that point, I don't dance anymore as much as I used to. But the point is that, and then when I was really young, my grandmother was working with me on a song, and I'll have to get the baby picture out one day, and because I'm wearing the same suit, and and my grandmother and I would sing. She was teaching me these songs, and I just thought grandma and me. She and I had an unusually close relationship. Like we never had disagreement, um, ever. Like we just got along. Um, we had a really soul connection. So when next thing I know, I'm in my church on the pulpit that has been cleared so that people could stand up there and sing. And then the next thing I'm like, oh my God, my grandmother's telling me to do that thing we did at home. And I didn't sing for her. And I was like so disappointed in myself. I was like probably 2 years old because I had bells on my shoes or something. I could remember going cling, cling, cling. And and so after that, I sang, but I was always hesitant to sing, and I realized it was because of probably some of those past life things that came up to me. So yeah, so yeah, that's just a whole like rabbit hole story. I don't know, Justine, maybe someday when I get really courageous. Um, I won't say never, but not right now because this took enough for me to get up here today to do this. Um, let's see. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, Justine says, I'm so guilty of overcomplicating and talking myself out of doing my inspirations. Yeah, and it can just sit with you, and just be like, that's why you gotta like intention, focus your attention on your intention, because like the guilt is not where your attention wants to go, because where your attention goes, that increases, right? So you got to remember, this is, I mean, I know we hate to hear it, but this is an illusion, like this three-dimensional world. So, you know, we can project, like a film projector, we can just project whatever we want onto what's been given to us in this school of creation. And guilt will just project, and then you'll be stuck in that cycle. And because you can do something, whatever it is, you can do something. You just have to take your attention off of that and get back in touch with your soul's intention, which is not complicated. It should never be like, it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary to be extraordinary. Really, it can be anything. That's why they remind us, like they're saying, take time to smell the roses, slow down, right? Simplify. You'll get much further. Slow and steady wins the race, right? All those things. So with this Lionsgate energy, I would encourage you to I would encourage you today to take some time and to connect in with the portal. And all you have to do is what I always do, and I don't know if it'll help you, but it's what I do. I call up the grid. So like a matrix of anything that I want to anything I want to connect with. So when I do readings for you, or I do this, or I do a reading on, I first call up the energy grid of, let's say, Naomi's angel reading. When I do that, I know that despite whatever I might want or fear may not come through, I know I've called up the manifested reality of Naomi's angel reading. It's already happened. This conversation has already happened, and all the possibilities of what might have been said in this conversation have already happened, are happening, and will continue to happen beyond this, right? I know I'm weirding you out, but it's okay. And so then whatever I tap into, I know that that's what I need for now. But I can always go back to that energy grid, and if Naomi came to me again, I would pick. There would be something else that would come out of it. Time and space is just kind of wrapped up, I guess, and just it's always happening, right? So eternity. Um, then, and what I would do is just call up that energy grid, um, and then I would call up my I am presence, and then I would call up my so this has been evolving for me. So I'll just give you a few of them, and you can tap into whichever one feels right for you. So you might want to call up the I'm one with the I am presence of our Mother, Father, God, or of Source, or the Supreme Being. All right, that's what has come up for me recently. The Supreme One, which is just love. That's what it is. That's what it's given me the sense that it's just love. And then I call up my Ascension team of light and unconditional love. And I'll do that for the client. If it's the client, I'll call up the client's I am presence, higher self, soul. I'll call up their ascension team of light and unconditional love, and first the energy grid, and then all those things, and just tune into it. So you can call up the Lionsgate Stargate. That's what I was shown today, instead of just the portal or the Lionsgate. I'm calling it the Lions Stargate. And do we just want to make everybody miserable and go over? and just do it, and why don't we do it just and and as you do it, I mean, even just talking about it, I kind of feel the energy, right? Just kind of picking up, feeling the extra energy around me, or feeling like I'm really just sort of encased in something, and and just step into it. And of course, you can set a physical location. The portals over the pyramid of Giza, so you can just call up the energy matrix for the Lion's Stargate over the pyramid of Giza. And if you really want to do something silly, if you're sitting, you can just walk your feet, just lift up your 1 foot at a time and put it back on the ground. And that will be as though you stepped across the threshold. And I see like a paw of the Sphinx. Okay? So you can either envision this or imagine it, the Sphinx. And the Sphinx is actually the gatekeeper of the pyramid and that energy. So it holds. It's not. It's like it's trying to keep anybody out, but it is. I don't know. This word protection seems like not quite the right word, but it's the guardian of that energy. It's the guardian of the energy that flows through that portal over Giza. And when it comes to you, the Sphinx, it it is tapping into you, right? It's trying to get to the core of who you are, to your truth, to where you resonate with your truth, when you're in alignment with it. Integrity is the word I'm trying to get out. And so allow it to bring you into its protection, into its fold, within the Stargate. And just sit with your palms up, facing up, open in a receptive mode. And between its ears, you see a shimmering diamond light that's it's a diamond violet and gold light. And if you are brave and you want to see what it would like to show you, although it's very enormous, stand in front of it and let her place her third eye onto your third eye. And then she begins to stream this violet, silver, and gold light of the violet flame into your third eye, and down through all of your chakras. Feel it just ascending up and down your 12 fifth dimensional chakras. And also a golden light is ascending from the heavens as this violet form of a violet flame cleanses and purifies and transmutes anything that is holding you back, anything within you that is resisting abundance, your own natural abundance. We're not talking about abundance that comes from somewhere, because that somewhere does not exist. The abundance is within you, and all those some things are drawn to your inner abundance, your light of inner abundance. And you will see this huge golden orb shining like the sun through the portal that is over the Pyramid of Giza. It is so brilliant, and it is so it's so delicious too. It's just covering everything. It feels just brilliant. The violet and the gold just covering the area. And as you are breathing in deeply, the violet flame is just expanding through you. And it looks as though the whole desert and the pyramid is covered in gold and violet. And just release, just intention. Your intention, the universe understands intention clearly. You don't have to spell it out. Your intention is just to release any and all resistance that is suffocating your inner light of abundance, your creativity, your faith and confidence and trust in yourself. You are looking for nothing any longer to be outside of you, projected into someone or something or a situation. You are only relying on the infinite universe that resides in your consciousness and subconscious. The universe begins, its spark begins within you. Every idea that comes to you is like a big bang, unfolding, unfurling with inside of your heart, your soul, and expanding and adding to and increasing the light of the universe, the prosperity, the goodness, the trust. It comes from within you. And now see that golden, radiant sun come down closer, and as it begins to touch you and surround you in this bubble of golden light. And within this golden light are many, many, many angels, archangels, Michael, unicorns are lighting up this orb, golden orb. And they ask you to imagine a brighter future for yourself and for the world that you can offer your service to. And I see that some of you, it's almost like you're tied up, both hands like from a tree, between two trees, and you're trying to escape. It reminds me of King Kong. And they're writing, you're scared of the manifestation. You think it's a monster coming towards you, but you're scared of what you deserve. And they're writing, definitely. And they're writing, you defined it, but you're scared of it. And you're acting as if you're going to be taken advantage of by your own desire. But nobody put those ropes on you. You created that drama just so you wouldn't have to respond to the thing that's coming, that's really coming. The drama is about the illusion, your fears, your preconceptions about what you think could go wrong. That's your King Kong. But King Kong is an illusion. And you create this drama that you're going to be devoured by a monster, mean monster, so that you wouldn't have to look at the truth. You wouldn't have to look at your desire, your beautiful goals, your beautiful dreams. You're afraid to look at them. And see the angel number 250. And this number says, your prayers to positively change your life, they have been heard and answered. Have been heard and answered. Have been heard and answered. So you know what that means, right? Like what they were showing me today. But that was the past. But you know what you want to do right now, but you're afraid to do it. But it says the more you stay filled with faith about these changes, the better the outcome. So get rid of your movie, your King Kong movie. Get rid of the drama, get rid of the threat, and don't take anything with you but a little tiny bag. Be the fool. Be glad to be the fool. Be a good fool. And just wait for the universe to bring to you what you really need to take on this journey with you. So the Sphinx was really trying to get inside of your third eye and into your vision to transmute that old story that you keep making up, so you can't allow your abundance to shine from within and start attracting, magnetizing towards you the happiness that you deserve. And don't be afraid to have simple dreams, simple starts, because nothing ever remains simple. That's the whole point. Don't get complicated, because it's going to get complicated, but it will be, when it does, it's not complicated. It's just beautiful abundance. That's what we call it. But when we're in a state of fear, when we're being complicated, well, we turn our abundance into complications. So just be simple. Just start with where you can start. Do the best you can, and know that that's like really good. That's really great. The best you can is the greatest that you can do then, and it will expand for you. And when things get added to you, because you're already on the path, you stepped on the path. Now the path, it's got to give you back. It's got to show up for you the way you show up for it. So that's why you want to just be clear about your intention. Keep your attention focused on your intention, right? Don't let your attention go to complications, things down the road, because you're not down the road. You're here. And what is available at this point in the road? And if there's nothing on the sideline, then it must be inside of you. That's what you always have to assume. If you are not seeing what you need, you don't need it. You just don't. It's inside of you what you need. You don't need it, because you already have the needs, the resources within you. Shouldn't we trust that? So, like right before, I was like, oh my goodness, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. And I almost allowed myself to get a little distracted about what I was, oh, maybe it's not going to set up properly, the camera, this, and then it's just like, yep, just go ahead and do it, right? And see it all unfolded, because we already showed up before this happened, long before it happened. It's probably been developed a long time before it happened. Right, starting with the universe and expanding, right? Oh, you say you see 1250 all the time, very often. So I have this old Doreen Virtue book, and it's out of print, sorry to say. And I also got the app, but there is another angel number online. I can't think of her name. I think if you just type in angel numbers, I think it's Sacred Scribe or Joanna Sacred Scribe or something like this, and she has them a lot more detail. I just still really love this, but sometimes I see four numbers, that's why I'm bringing it up. You could look that up there. Or here, 1, 2, 5, and 0. You just do 1, 2, 5, you and then you read 1, 2, 5 plus 0, and you get the message. So I'll do that for you here. It says all of the changes that you've been making or considering will go much more smoothly if you keep a positive mindset. And 0 is a message that God is talking to you. When you see a 0, it's a sign of the endless circle of omega without beginning or end. God is trying to get your attention with a word of reassurance or divine guidance. So, and I always say, you know how God is talking to you, right? Inspiration. Whenever you're inspired, that is the voice of God talking to you. You doubt it, just think about it, right? Inspiration is the voice of God speaking to you. So, and if you just look at these numbers, like 1, 2, 5, it's like, keep your thoughts anchored in faith as you are making changes, and trust that God is talking to you. Oh, hi, Don. Great to see you here. And so if you keep getting that number, I feel like it's like, listen to God, right? Listen to the voice of inspiration. Listen to something that just brings you out of yourself, that gives you so much hope, that you feel like you got fuel for days. Like this card, the cup runneth over. I know we don't see a cup here, but that feeling of this card, that's the voice of inspiration. Listen to God talking to you because you're being guided. Surrender, have faith in the changes. And that attention, one is about intention, right? Attention, intention. Focusing your attention on your intention. And I feel like that would be since that's the first number, that would be the most powerful thing that you can do as a practice. Who is this? Crystal, is to focus your attention on your intention. So that means get clear about what your intention is. But Crystal, make sure your intention is at the top of the hour with the zeros. Oh yeah, make sure your intention is simple. Something that the world can't take from you. Like if whoever said that thing about performing, I love to perform because I just love being in front of an audience, and I love the way I make them feel and the way they make me feel. That's an intention, and nobody can take that away from you because it's something you've had. It's visceral to you in some way, right? Just nobody can like the readings I do here or anytime. Like my connection to them is I'll do them as long as I'm alive, because wow, it's the thing about it is it's the highest high I ever feel. It's like the highest high. Like when I'm singing really well, that it comes very, very close, extremely close to it. It's the highest high. So, and then it's the highest form of inspiration for me. So even if everybody was like saying, "Oh, he's awful," I'm not listening to him anymore, I would ignore you and still do it because I can't trade that for anything in the world. That's an incredible awareness of intention, right? So I remember early on, so I was like, "Oh, you talk too much, or you just go to," and it hurt me. And then I remembered, well, yeah, but this is that thing. Like this is the highest high I experience, and why would I want to disconnect myself from it? Why would I allow anything or something that somebody says to disconnect me from it? So you got to have an intention that's simple and clear, and it doesn't rely on anybody else to fulfill it. So people can criticize my videos all they want. It'll bother me, but it won't stop me because of the intention. And And once you have a clear intention, you can automatically have faith. I'm just going through the numbers. I've never thought about this before. See what I'm talking about? Like, so your faith becomes automatic. And then change, five, like it changes then less scary because you already realize it's about the faith, it's about your intention. And the changes will happen. The changes are will come unfold out of that clear intention and faith in action, right? Faith in action will start to stir the pot. So the changes have to come. The wheel will spin as soon as you put your faith in action. And God is talking to the zero. I mean, circle, cycle. So look, the worst that could ever happen is you just keep going around and around and around until you get it right. Right? Meaning you will get many opportunities. The universe will keep giving you many opportunities to do what you want to do. And if you can't figure out the right way to do it, to give you the opportunities to do that too. You don't want to do that. So listen to God when he's talking to you, when he's inspiring you, giving you a clear sense of yourself and your purpose, and go with it. Yeah, getting you. Well, that's the that's the looking for love in all the wrong places, and I didn't want to put it that way. Um, but um, and there's something else that I would, more. I don't want it to sound that way, but we got to put it that way first, right? It's the truth. That's what it is. Living through other people, and what are we doing? We're putting off our own timing, right? We're putting off our we're taking our attention off of our intention, delaying our dreams in that way. And there are all kinds of reasons. Sometimes we just don't feel good enough about ourselves. So, like, you go into that world and it feels good, and it'll feel good. But there'll come a time, of course, because when you depend on other people to live through, then it will, it won't work, and then you will have to rely on that thing about yourself that doesn't. And so there's no judgment, there's no right or wrong to any of this. It's our thinking about the things that we do, the criticism about the things that we do, is what sticks us to what seems like what is wrong. But the universe can use anything you do as it can give it purpose. It can turn it into something that you can learn from. Like, even if it's just something as simple as that. So you do what you do until you're ready to do something else. Don't call it better, but when you're done with living through other people, you will be done, and you will have all the energy for what you want to do, because you have had so much practice in what you don't want to do that you're like, I'm sick of this. It's like I like to eat the same thing every day until I get sick of it, which could be years. But when I'm sick of it, I'm sick of it. And no, it's like it's the best way to learn how to detach without drama. Because once you get sick of something, it's like, okay, I had enough of that, and you just move on. So maybe you can see it a little bit like that. If you bring it up now, then eventually you'll be like, yeah, I'm okay. I think I've had enough of that. Okay, so let's see, Don. Oh yeah. Let me put this back. Okay, guys. Yeah, like pizza. Yes, it does, Crystal. The mutual energy. Yeah, we're. I'm glad to be sort of not perfect, because, and I know a lot of people would like their leaders to be perfect, but if they really are helping you, it's because they're not perfect, and they know it, and they have taken, and they gain wisdom from it, which they can share with you. right? So yeah, so I'm owning my imperfections. All right, everyone. So did I just go away because it says you're live again? But anyway, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna go have dinner. I'm gonna let you get back to your day and let you have some fun with your Lions Stargate energy, and whatever real talk happens in that time, go ahead and be honest with yourself. Don't get upset with the Stargate. Don't get upset with the universe for giving you the gift of sincere honesty to help you to possibly like get, get a move on it, right? And if you're not, it's not your time to get a move on it, and it's just your time to appreciate where you are. That might just be for some of you that you just need to appreciate where you are, appreciate what you created, because you whatever it is you're going through, you created it, and you can't really. It's like you can't. Oh, can I say this? Oh, this feels so good. You can't really. You can't really. Until you learn to appreciate what you created, how can you move on? Right? Like, um, like a piece of art, you might be like, but until you appreciate it, you're not going to be able to move past it. You're going to keep criticizing it. Every time you come up, you're going to use it. So you have to appreciate something. If you really want to let it go, appreciate it. See the purpose. See the reason why it came into your life. Be open to the truth. Be open to what I mean. The truth is that we created stuff. Sometimes we create stuff, and sometimes we create divine things, right? The universe didn't create the stuff, but it loves you for whatever you decide to do, and the reason is because you can learn from it, right? You can learn to appreciate it, and you'll be done with that. So instead of trying to sometimes get rid of it or cry it out, how about just try to appreciate it and see how much shifting and enlightenment you have in yourself. All right, so I send you guys lots of love. Oh, hi, Lula Maria. Lots of love and angel blessings. And have a beautiful week because this is a Monday. I usually have done this on a Sunday, but have a beautiful week. Bye bye. Yep, don't hate, just appreciate. Oh goodness. Oh, and just a reminder, if anybody's looking for an angel reading, don't forget um, my first time promotional offer is available the entire year without limitation. And there's other things there as well. Okay? Everybody knows I'm not stingy, so don't be afraid to choose whatever you need to choose. All right? Bye bye. Light and love.